Right, so we're back. And today, we're diving deep into Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, the world building, the magic system, and how it connects to the larger Cosmere universe.
That's right.
So if you haven't read Stormlight Archive, maybe check out some other episodes first. But if you have,
Right.
get ready for some serious in-depth discussion.
Absolutely. I mean, Sanderson's work, it's a masterclass in world building.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, cool landscapes or creatures, right?
Yeah.
It's creating a world that feels real.
Right.
Like every detail is a consequence of this unique environment he's built.
Okay, so let's talk about that environment.
Okay.
Oshar.
Yeah.
The planet where the Stormlight Archive is set.
Right.
Imagine a planet with, like, hurricane-force winds.
Oh, yeah.
Laced with lightning.
Yeah.
And they happen regularly.
Regularly.
We're talking storms so powerful they reshape the landscape.
That's right.
These are the high storms.
The infamous high storms.
Yeah.
They're not just a backdrop. They're like the lifeblood of this world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the people have adapted.
Yeah.
But, like, what about the plants and animals?
Right. Well,
How do you survive?
survival on Roshar is about resilience.
Okay.
Even the flora and fauna, they evolve in extraordinary ways to cope with these extreme conditions.
Like how
Take the grasses, for example.
Right.
They retract into holes in the stone during a high storm.
What?
So it looks like entire fields just disappear and reappear.
That's great.
Talk about extreme gardening, right?
Yeah.
And then you have like the skyles.
Oh, yeah, those big flying creatures.
These massive flying creatures right at home, scavenging after a high storm.
Picking through debris and stuff.
Yeah, a little wind and lightning doesn't bother them much.
Right. And then there's the Haspers.
Oh, yeah, the Haspers, tenacious little creatures,
Yeah.
clinging to surfaces,
Just surviving.
thriving in this harsh environment,
Yeah.
finding shelter and sustenance.
Yeah. It's a world in constant flux.
Absolutely.
Where life just clings on.
Adapts and evolves.
Adapting and evolving.
Yeah, in response to the ever-present threat of the high storms.
That's Roshar for you.
But it's not just the environment, right?
Right.
The society itself reflects this constant struggle.
Absolutely.
Roshar has a strict social hierarchy
Yes, very strict.
with the stark division between the light eyes,
the light eye.
for the nobility,
Right. The nobility.
and the dark eyes.
The dark eyes, the commoner.
Yeah. And this division goes beyond just social status.
Oh, what? Absolutely.
It's like everything.
It permeates every aspect of life, from the clothes they wear to the weapons they can carry.
And talking about weapons,
Yeah.
dark eyes are traditionally forbidden from owning or wielding shard blades.
Right.
These incredibly powerful swords from a bygone era.
Ancient and powerful.
Imagine a weapon that can cut through any inanimate material,
Anything.
like slicing through granite as effortlessly as sunlight through air.
It's true.
So if these shard blades are so powerful,
Yeah.
why even bother with anything else? That's a great question, and it really gets to the heart of Roshar's social and political dynamics.
Okay.
The Light Eyes, they control access to shard blades, limiting their use and reinforcing their dominance.
Right. So it's a system built on power and control,
Yeah,
where the threat of these blades maintains some kind of balance.
a precarious balance.
Yeah, precarious for sure.
Yeah.
So the high storms shape the landscape.
Right.
The creatures have evolved to survive them.
Yeah.
And society is built around controlling the most powerful weapons forged using their energy.
That's all connected.
Safe to say these high storms are kind of a big deal.
They are absolutely central to everything on Roshar.
Everything.
But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
These storms aren't just a force of nature.
What else are they?
They're the sorts of magic,
Oh, okay.
a power known as stormlight.
So we're not just talking about harnessing the wind or whatever.
No.
We're talking about manipulating the very essence of these high storms
That's right.
to do incredible things.
Incredible things. And Sanderson doesn't just throw magic around.
Yeah.
He creates a system
Right.
with rules and limitations.
Yeah.
Stormlight can be harnessed and used in specific ways,
Like what?
like enhancing your strength and speed,
Go.
changing your direction of gravity,
Whoa.
even binding objects together with incredible force.
Wow.
These are called lashings,
Lashing.
and they're the building blocks of how people use stormlight.
So how do lashings work?
Well, think of it like channeling the storm's energy through your will.
Okay.
Those who can wield stormlight,
Yeah.
they can manipulate it by focusing their intent
Right.
and understanding its properties.
But there's got to be more to it than just wishing really hard or something.
Oh, of course.
What about those glowing glyphs?
Oh, yes, the glyphs.
Yeah, I keep seeing those mentioned.
The glyphs are key.
Okay.
Think of them like a way of focusing your intent. like a mental framework for manipulating stormlight.
Right?
They represent different aspects of the storm's power. And by understanding their meaning,
Yeah.
you can tap into those specific powers.
But it's not just about knowing the glyphs.
No.
It's about understanding the underlying principles.
Exactly.
The stormlight itself.
It's a delicate dance
Yeah.
between knowledge, willpower, and the raw energy of the storm.
So we've got this world shaped by these insane storms.
Right.
A society grappling with power and control.
Yeah.
And a magic system that lets you literally defy gravity.
It's pretty amazing.
What's not to love?
And we haven't even scratched the surface.
There's more.
There's another layer to all of this.
Okay.
A connection to something even larger.
What's that?
The Cosmere.
The what mirror?
The Cosmere.
You'd have to explain that one.
All right, well, the Cosmere, think of it like Brandon Sanderson's grand interconnected universe.
Okay.
A universe where different planets with their own unique magic systems
Okay.
and histories are all connected
They're all connected.
by a deeper underlying power.
So, like, what happens on Roshar could affect other planets in this Cosmere?
Exactly, and we see hints of these connections
Okay.
throughout the Stormlight archive.
Okay, like what?
One of the most intriguing examples
Yeah.
is the Spren.
Oh, right, the Spren, those mysterious spirits
Yeah,
that are all over Roshar.
they permeate Roshar.
Yeah, taking different forms based on the environment or even people's emotions.
That's right.
Like, I remember reading about Wind Spren dancing in the air currents
Yeah,
and Fierce Spren lurking in the shadows.
it's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
But there's more to Spren than just being cool visual elements.
Okay.
Remember how we were talking about the high storms being the source of stormlight?
Yeah.
Well, the Spren seem to be intrinsically linked to this power.
Okay, so they're drawn to it.
Drawn to stormlight, almost like moths to a flame.
That's just some Spren are a little different, right?
Right.
Like they're those Wind Spren that seem to be developing sentience,
Yes.
even referring to characters by name.
It's true.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Yeah, what is up with that?
That's one of the biggest mysteries in this series.
Okay.
And it points to a deeper connection to the Cosmere.
Okay.
These unusual Spren,
Yeah.
the ones exhibiting awareness and intelligence
Yeah.
beyond what we'd expect,
All right.
they're a sign that something extraordinary is happening on Roshar.
So you're saying the lines between like the physical and the spiritual,
Yes,
between this world and the broader Cosmere,
they're blurring.
they're blurring. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you suggesting that Spren are somehow connected to other planets in the Cosmere?
It's certainly a possibility.
Could they be like traveling between worlds?
Well, we know that certain individuals in the Cosmere
Yeah.
possess the ability to travel between planets.
Right.
So it's not a stretch to imagine that Spren, with their connection to Stormlight
Okay.
and their growing sentience, might have a role to play in this interplanetary travel.
Okay, my head is spinning. So we got these high storms shaping the world,
All right.
powering this incredible magic system, and now spreading that might be linked to other planets.
It's all
in
connected.
this vast Cosmere.
It's like Sanderson took all the coolest ideas from fantasy and science fiction
Right.
and blended them together into something truly unique.
It's true, and he does it with such depth
Absolutely.
and complexity.
It's not just about the world and the magic. It's
Right.
about the people, their
Yeah.
struggles, their triumphs,
The characters.
and the choices they make in the face of overwhelming power.
Exactly. Speaking of the characters, we can't talk about Stormlight Archive without mentioning some of these unforgettable characters,
Oh, yeah.
like Seth Sanson Volano,
Sitsense and Volano,
that gravity-defying assassin.
bound by those ancient oaths.
Yeah, his internal conflict,
Right.
the way he struggles with his duty, even as he carries out these deadly missions,
Yeah.
it's just so compelling.
Seth is a perfect example of how Sanderson explores the moral complexities of power.
Okay.
He's a weapon, yes, but he's also a man grappling with his conscience.
Right.
Trying to find meaning and purpose in a life dictated by oaths he doesn't
Yeah.
fully understand.
What about Kaladin?
Oh, Kaladin.
That guy's been through so much.
From soldier to slave,
Yeah, constantly battling despair.
trying to hold on to hope
Yeah.
in the face of unimaginable cruelty.
His journey is a powerful exploration of resilience
Yes.
and the human spirit.
He's broken, betrayed, beaten down,
Yeah.
yet he still finds the strength to fight for himself and those around him.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Absolutely. His struggle to overcome trauma and find a new purpose.
Yeah.
It resonates deeply with readers.
And let's not forget that mysterious wind spren that follows him around.
Right.
The one that calls him by name.
Calls him by name.
I have a feeling she's going to play a big role in his story.
Absolutely. That Windspren with her unusual behavior and
Hmm.
growing connection to Kaladin
Right.
is another hint at the larger forces at play.
Okay.
She's a symbol of hope,
Yeah.
a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's something more out there,
Yeah.
something waiting to be discovered.
It's like Sanderson is dropping breadcrumbs,
Yes!
leading us deeper into this world
Deeper into Roshar,
and this vast Cosmere.
hinting at connections we don't yet fully understand.
And Shellen,
oh, Shell?
that witty, artistic young woman,
Determined to save her family from ruin.
yeah, her journey to Carbranth and her apprenticeship under Jasna Colin.
So much intrigue and mystery.
Yeah, her journey is like a counterpoint to Kaladin's.
Right.
He grapples with like physical and emotional hardship,
Yes.
and she's navigating the complexities of this society.
A society steeped in tradition and secrets.
Yeah, she's a keen observer.
Using her art and her wit to unravel the mystery surrounding her.
It's incredible how Sanderson weaves these seemingly disparate threads together,
I know, right?
creating a narrative that's both epic in scope
Absolutely.
and deeply personal.
It's both.
We have these characters each on their own unique journey, all connected by this world, Roshar, and the mysteries of the Cosmere.
And it's a world on the brink of change.
What do you mean?
Ancient powers are awakening. Long dormant forces are stirring.
Oh.
And the choices these characters make
Yeah.
will have repercussions not just for themselves,
Right.
but for the fate of Roshar
Okay.
and possibly even the entire Cosmere.
Okay, I am officially on the edge of my seat.
Get ready for the ride.
Where do we go from here?
Oh,
So much to unpack here.
yeah.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
Just the beginning.
What does it all mean for someone diving into Stormlight for the first time?
I mean, they're in for a wild ride.
Okay.
The Stormlight Archive is a story where, like, the world itself is a character.
Okay.
The high storms, the Spren,
Yeah.
the shard blades, and shard plate,
Right.
they all contribute to this narrative that's as much about Roshar as the people on it.
It's more than just a backdrop.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The world is like actively shaping the plot, the characters, even the magic system.
Think about it. The constant threat of high storms.
Yeah.
It influences everything,
Right.
from architecture to fashion to military tactics.
Right.
The Spren, with their connection to Stormlight and the Cosmere,
Yeah.
they hint at like a deeper, more mysterious level to the world.
Right. And those ancient relics.
Yeah.
Like shard blades and shard plate.
They represent a lost era of power and knowledge.
Okay, so what advice would you give to someone starting this journey? What should they be paying attention to?
Pay attention to the details.
Okay.
Sanderson is a master of foreshadowing.
Right.
He sprinkles clues throughout the story,
Okay.
often in like seemingly insignificant moments.
So like what?
The way a character reacts to a high storm,
Okay.
the unusual behavior of a cryptic line from a dying man.
Right.
These could all be hints at something much larger.
So it's like a giant puzzle,
Yeah,
and we're piecing it together alongside the characters.
exactly. And the more you understand about Roshar, its history, its magic system, its connection to the Cosmere, the more those pieces start to fit together.
Okay.
You start to see the patterns, the connections, the deeper meaning.
I feel like that's what makes a good fantasy series truly great.
Absolutely.
It's that sense of discovery.
Yeah.
Like you're unraveling this mystery alongside the characters.
It's not just escapism.
Right.
It's about engaging your mind,
Yeah.
challenging your assumptions.
Exploring new ideas.
Exactly. And the Stormlight Archive does all of that and more.
Well said.
It's a story that stays with you long after you've finished reading.
For sure.
A story that makes you think, makes you question, makes you want to go back and rediscover its secrets.
I'm feeling very inspired to dive back into Roshar.
Me too.
And for anyone out there who hasn't experienced the Stormlight Archive yet,
Yeah.
I can't recommend it enough.
It's an incredible journey.
So we've talked about the world building, the magic system,
They carry.
the connections to the Cosmere.
It's all connected.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I think it's important to remember that the power of Stormlight is a double-edged sword.
Okay.
It can be used for good or for evil, for creation or for destruction.
As we journey alongside these characters, we have to consider the choices they make,
Yes.
the consequences of their actions.
The ultimate question that hangs over the entire series.
With that,
Who will wield the power of Stormlight and to what end?
that's a great point to leave our listeners with.
Yeah.
The fate of Roshar
And maybe even the Cosmere.
hangs in the balance.
It's up to each of us to discover the answers for ourselves.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive
Absolutely.
into the world of the Stormlight Archive.